Warm greetings from the High 10. It is Monday, February 17, 2020. Welcome to Everyday Shenanigans. I want to bring you said information pertaining to the case of Faye Swetlik and the suspect linked to her death, Cody Taylor. Uh, the autopsies have been performed on both Swetlik and Taylor. Her body, excuse me, was performed at the Medical University of South Carolina, and her body was escorted back to Lexington by the Sheriff's Department, and that was a noble thing of them to do, and that is giving you that said information for those of you who were questioning why her body was escorted back. That's out of respect, obviously, Southern hospitality. So, giving you that said information. Both autopsies will be revealed in a press conference tomorrow. So check the date and time because that has not been released as of late of me checking for the said information. So the autopsies for Faye Swetlik and Cody Taylor will be revealed in a press conference tomorrow. And the funeral arrangements for Faye has been set. Her funeral will be at the Trinity Baptist Church, February 21st at 7 p.m. All funeral services will be covered by Cogman and Harmon Funeral Home, which is very noble of them. Let's send a shout out to this funeral home for the covering the expenses for Faye Swetlik's funeral services. Very noble. Very, very noble. We're going to give them a shout out. Cogman and Harmon. I hope I'm pronouncing the name correct. Her funeral will be February 21st at 7 p.m. Faye Swetlik. Naturally, I saw the 911 call, which was on the Casey, South Carolina Facebook page. Feel free to go to that to get the said information. During this phone call, you hear the mother panting. You can tell she's out of breath. She's winded. She's excited. She's upset. Sounds natural. They asked her to say information to dispatcher, what she was wearing, her height, She tells her, asks where she was at the time. She said she's playing in the front of the yard. She also asked her, did she go check the back of the yard? She complies and says, yes, she did. The mother also tells her that she had went door to door in the neighborhood asking people and notified other neighbors to look out for Faye. And they also were out in the neighborhood, looking for Faye. She asked her when was the last time she saw her. She said it was an hour beforehand. The dispatcher let it be known that she should stay right there in the front of the house since that is where Faye allegedly was last seen. So she was sending a unit and a dog out to that said location because that is allegedly where Faye was last playing. Okay, so that is the said information of the 911 call. Now I want to bring you information pertaining to who Cody Taylor was. This information is brought to you by WLTX19 if you need verification for the storyline. Who is Cody Scott Taylor, man linked to Faye Swetlik death? Cody Scott Taylor, 30, has been linked by law enforcement to the death of 6-year-old Faye Swetlik, a South Carolina girl who was found dead in the woods near her home. On Friday morning, investigators linked Taylor to the death of Faye Swetlik, a little girl who went missing in her neighborhood on Monday afternoon. Casey Department of Public Safety Chief Byron Snellgrove then discovered Faye's body around 11 a.m. in a wooded area between her home and a nearby Napa Auto Parts store. Law enforcement said that her body had not been in the area for a very long time. A short time later, Taylor's body was found inside his home on Piccadilly Square, which is also nearby. The coroner would not speculate on how he died until an autopsy is performed on Saturday, which was 2 days ago. Casey DPS Sergeant Evan Atley said a piece of critical evidence collected from a trash can in the neighborhood led them to the girl's location and ultimately Taylor's home. Taylor lived under 500 feet from the 6-year-old at 602 Piccadilly Square. The wooded area behind the home is where the body of Swetlik was found. Casey DPS Sergeant Evan Atley said Friday that Taylor did not have criminal history and was unknown to law enforcement. Taylor graduated from Bluffton High School in 2007 and later enrolled at the University of South Carolina, Beaufort in the fall of 2007. He transferred to the Columbia campus in 2008. According to the university, he was a math major. Taylor withdrew in the spring of 2009, and there is no record of his graduation. According to the corporate offices of Jimmy John's, Taylor stopped working there in 2015. At this time of his death, Taylor was the general manager of a Wingstop location in West Columbia. He began his employment there in June of 2016, according to the company. And this said information is brought to you by WLTX 19. So, now you all know the reason for the police escort of Faye's body from the University Medical Center was out of respect. And kudos and shout out to the Sheriff's Department for that. For those of you who were so curious to why her body was escorted, it was because of that. Out of respect, Southern hospitality. Both autopsies have been performed. Naturally, information about her manner of death was not released to the public because they had to notify her parents at first, and they want to respect the said information that was released. So that's why you didn't get any information pertaining to the manner of death. A press conference will be set up tomorrow in Casey, and that's when you will get the manner of death for Faye Swetlik and Cody Taylor. My commentary pertaining to this said information. The 911 call seemed genuine. The mother was frantic. You can hear her breathing hard, panting back and forth. It was relayed that the child was out in front of the yard to her last known knowledge of the child. She said it was an hour before, I guess, when she last saw her, checked on her. I don't know because she didn't specify. The dispatcher told her to stay in front of the yard because that's allegedly where Faye last was seen. And they were sending a dog and a unit. The problem I have with this situation with the dog is that why the dog didn't alert on her sooner. Because you see, if they had given the dog, the person who's handling the dog, the officer, a piece of Faye's clothing, I'm thinking they would have found her sooner, considering the fact Cody lived in the same area where Faye lived. So why did it take several days before she was found? I find that baffling. She went missing on a Monday. She didn't get found till what, Thursday, 11 a.m.? Then you wonder about that. When she was found, which was morning. They saying that what they found in the trash can led to finding her, and then that evidence led to Cody's residence. So now I ask myself, is the dog the source that helped find the evidence in the trash, and then her body, and then led you, the officers, to Cody's residence? All this is baffling to me. The fact that all these people were running around the neighborhood. The mother said in the 911 call that she went out looking for her daughter, door to door. Other neighbors came out to look for her as well. So he had to hear the commotion of all these people running around. He had to have heard the helicopter swarming above. He had to have seen and heard sirens. I mean, well, not maybe sirens, but commotion. Police, he had to. But maybe he was otherwise engaged. And so I asked myself, he had to have been spooked at some point. Because naturally, as I stated to you all in the previous video, the police did talk to Cody. Matter of fact, I believe they went to him several times to confer with him. So, they went to the parents' home, they went to his home, other neighbors' residence, they locked the neighborhood down, helicopters are swarming, dogs are out. How many, I don't know. If they just use one dog, I'm not sure. But the point is, all this commotion in the neighborhood, this guy could have let that child go. Now, naturally, he would have been spooked to do that because they're looking for her. There's no way he didn't know that they were looking for her. But naturally, he knows that if he let her go too, she would tell. She'd identify him and point to the location of where she was. But why not take the charge of kidnapping the child and whatever other misdeeds you exacted upon her than getting life or death, a needle to the arm? You see what I'm saying? He should have let her go. But we know pedophiles aren't going to do that for the very reason of not wanting to be apprehended. he knows that if he let her go, she would tell. So why have someone testifying against me to say I did this and this? You know, you're always hoping that they'll have some dignity, even in the sickness of what they're doing, that they'll say, let me let this child go. Let me let this person go. Because I don't need a kidnapping murder charge. But as you see, he did not care. Some of you commented, one or two of you, he was mentally challenged. Yeah. Well, as you see, he was not mentally challenged. Because you see, he attended the University of South Carolina, and you got to have a brain to get in there. You will not be mentally undeveloped attending the University, South Carolina, or any major university or college. Common sense he may not have had, but he had book sense and enough sense to fill out an application to get into university and to also get accepted. I understand the police concern with rhetoric and rumors on social media because people tend to flock to Facebook to get their said information about storylines, and this is why it's dangerous to partake and listen at certain things said about him. It was also noted he didn't have a criminal record, but someone said they saw something of him having a record of being a pedophile. Well, obviously that can't be true because I've been going through not Facebook, but social media today, Googling articles on the said information. It took forever just to pull up an article on him just to get information about him. So that's what I'm saying. Can't believe everything you hear about a police record he had, this, that, and the other, mentally challenged, because now you see he attended a university, and I didn't find any articles that stated he had a criminal history. That was released days ago that he did not. My only skepticism is with the police and the dog unit. I don't understand why she was found days later if you had a K9 unit out looking for her day one. You can go to Facebook, the KC Facebook page, police department, and it will verify when they posted to the page at 6-something o'clock that they were looking, that they sent a unit out looking for her. So that was verified that a K9 unit was sent out. But as I state, that's the problem I have with this case. Everything was great. I'm glad they sent out a unit because as you see in another case that I've discussed on this about a baby in Alabama, no K9s were sent out. And then in that case, the child was far gone with the suspects. But still, in the case of a missing child, missing person, I think a K9 unit should always be brought out. Even if you have to go borrow one from a neighboring county, bring one anyway. Some of you question the Amber Alert situation. Well, as I stated to you all before, the Amber Alert system has its own criteria for when an Amber Alert will be issued. One of the criteria for why they did not issue one is because they didn't feel like she had been kidnapped. So one could say, well, the mother looked for her, didn't find her, and where the hell was she? Because she was taken by somebody. Maybe not snatched, grabbed, pulled, dragged, lured, still all the same. Child doesn't belong to you. You don't have any business bothering her. Did she walk off? Did she wander off? Because they didn't live right next door to each other, where she could have just walked by, saw a puppy, dog playing, whatever. You have to ask yourself, how did Cody Taylor get Faye Swetlik? So I am curious to that. Perhaps the child wandered off. She walked off. She may have seen some kids playing down the road. These things happen. Kids get out, they get bored. She didn't want to play on the porch anymore or front yard. She walked around the back. She walked down the street. She may have seen, as I stated, other children. Other children. Was he out walking around looking for a victim? I don't know. Because you see, you never can get the truth when you're dealing with two deceased people. The child can't tell you anything, and the suspect can't tell you anything. And for those of you who are naysayers on the evidence, I'm leaning towards what the police department has. They made it clear that they linked Mr. Taylor to Faye Swetlik because of evidence found in a trash in a bag, which was information that was on a missing persons flyer pertaining to Faye Swetlik. And that said information in the trash led to the discovery of Faye's body in the wooded area and led to Cody's door. So why you want to question what evidence the police has? And I'm the type, I don't argue with crazy people about what the police has, what evidence they have. Naturally, they're not going to tell you what the evidence is. Use your imagination. As I state, K9 was used. Why he didn't alert on her earlier, day one, is a mystery to me. But perhaps the K9 alerted when he went to the trash can. And that's what led to the finding of her body, which led to the discovery of the said person's home, Mr. Taylor. She was found at 11 a.m. in the morning, days later. So one has to wonder, how did he get the body out there without being seen? And I think he did it in the wee hours when no one was up, no one was lurking around, pitch black. Let me take her out, dump her out here. But then you have to ask yourself, how did he get her out there? Because he couldn't have carried her out there without being seen. Anybody could have been outside any time of day and night, because people are always up, looking, lurking, getting a glass of water, getting something to eat, turn the kitchen light on. You see where I'm going. Did he carry her out in a bag, then dump her, then walk back comfortably back to his home, went to bed? Because you got to remember, they said in the articles, Faye was not there long. So he held that baby inside his home for 3 days until he felt it was clear to drop her off in that wooded area. And how he did it and what he disposed of her in, I don't know. But he got away with it. But then somehow the police went back to his home. And he was later found deceased. Now, did they go to his home firsthand with information on that Thursday, and he took his life afterwards, perhaps? Or he just assumed they were coming because they've already been there, maybe once, twice, and he went ahead and ended his life. And I'm going to assume that he killed himself, since the police says they have evidence linking him to Faye's demise. This is a tragic story. And as I stated to you all in the previous video, you cannot leave children outside now. As much as it is a staple in most communities to let children go outside and play for a little while. But as you see, once your back is turned, your child is out of eyesight, all bets are off. Anything can happen. Accident, fight. They can get chased, bit by a dog. Or they can be kidnapped or lured by a demon and then murdered. Like and share. Drop your comments below. Thanks for joining me. And this is Everyday Shenanigans. Bye-bye.